Okay, this is a video to answer some of the questions you had on the Brewer Science CEE C200X precision spin coater. And one of the first questions you had was about the drain. You did point out in your picture, this is the drain that leads to the back of the system. And as you can see here now, since we're going to actually do some dispense, I have a tube hooked on up to the right side here. There's an exhaust to the left, I don't know if you can see that, which is 1 inch. You'll need a 1 inch inner diameter tube to go around that. This is 3/4, so you'll need a 3/4 inch inner diameter tube to go on from this drain port. And it's well labeled here on the back, indicating which one's the exhaust and which one's the drain on the little schematic they have drawn in the back here. So again, exhaust, it's a 1 inch ID you'll need, and a 3/4 inch ID for the drain. The second question you had was about how is the developer or water dispensed. And as you can see, we have these two valves in the back here that are attached. These are your two control valves here, and I have the lines leading from our containers, stainless steel containers. And you could put developer or DI water, whatever. Right now I just have a distilled water in either one of the tanks for demonstration purposes. And they're just attached, they're pressurized stainless steel tanks, and they lead up to the valves here. And the valves are controlled too by the unit, and I'll explain that later. But the lines eventually come out through here. And it's really not a nozzle, it's just like a, I don't know if you can see that, it's just a port. It's a fixed position here. This does not oscillate. It doesn't have that option, so it's just a fixed setup, fixturing here, but you can rotate it around this way. Just bring this down with some adjustments here. You can bring it up and down by loosening this screw. Move it back and forth using the two screws here. Just loosen up on the shaft. No, actually, we'd have to move this one here to move it back and forth. And again, you can rotate it. Right now, I kind of have it centered to the back. You know, just using my eye there to adjust it. So let's go ahead and I just want to point out, we did find a stylish that can be used for your typically for most applications your finger would work just fine. So you want to use a dispense, but you can also use the stylus. It does make it a little bit easier. So we'll send that along. And all right, so let me just discuss how we hooked up the dispense system here. This is our control box. It has 4 regulators, so you can regulate each one of your individual tanks by setting the pressure here. And right now I have CDA, clean dry air, and I'll turn that on. We had a little leak in our house regulator, so typically we're going to have this set to 70. And if you follow this line in, come around the back here, it's being supplied to the back of the 200SX, XD, excuse me, 200XD, and then it's just basically returned back out of here through this line and brought into your controller. So that's 70 psi being supplied here. And then if you notice, the 2 clear lines are going out to the valves up here. So they'll activate the valves as the program calls for it. So I have this one 2, and this one's labeled 1. And before that, I did run the serial port cables over. And again, this is all, if you look at the back of the system, it's all labeled. So you're just going to bring 1 to 1, and then number 2, and then there's a 3rd one here, but we're not using that right now. There were 3 cables available. I hooked them up, 1, 2, and 3 on the back of the system. These 2 are for the valves. So the green lines are what the regulators are being used here. You set 1, 2, 3, 4 from the left to the right. but we're only using 2. I got 2 tanks. So each tank, you have to, make sure you set this up correctly, but this is 1, and this is 2. They're labeled here, but you just want to be certain that your number 1 tank is running into the number 1 valve, number 2 tank is running into the number 2 valve. So basically the way this works is right now with this, this is the exhaust valve. When it's in the up and down position, you're vented, so there's no pressure on your cylinder here. To open it, you unscrew the top here. You unscrew it far enough down where you can turn it and then lift it out. Now, I don't know if you can see that in there. I did put water in here. So in order to fill your tanks, you just need to take the top off, make sure it's vented. It's not under pressure at least. If it's under pressure, you'll never get the lid off. This is just a manual vent. You can vent it. I'll show that later. So I won't do the same on the other, but the other one's identical. They're identical. And you just want to make sure that these are sealed properly. So for each valve you have a tank, and right now this system is only connected to, with two valves. There's a third one up there that's not being used, and we'll provide the third tank with it too. So anyway, come to the front of your control unit here. Right now there's 3 positions on this switch here. This is off. The middle position here at the say 2 o'clock position is the vent. And when you put it straight up and down, we're pressurizing our cylinders now. I don't know if you can hear that, but each one of those tank cylinders are being pressurized to the pressure set on the regulators in the front here. And again, if you want to vent it, you just move to this position. It vents slowly, and then that's an off position. It'll stay under pressure. Anyway, that's the idea how that works. Basically, you just want to make sure it's in the up and down position, straight up and down, and you can adjust your pressure to each one of your tanks. Oh, yeah, here you go. I made this mistake before. You have to be certain that these are in the off position. They're venting now. That's why it didn't hold the pressure. So these have to be, this valve has to be off. So now they're both pressurizing, so if I do go to the off position, actually I think that's the vent. Oh yeah, that's right. The second one here, this in-between position is off, so you have on and off. And then you have a vent. I can hear it venting here. Alright, so let's just pressurize our tanks. And then let's go into the screen here. Back all the way out to the beginning. So I'm going to go into Diagnostics, Spin Diagnostics, and it's going to bring us to the Spin Diagnostics page. And out here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, let me turn my vacuum pump on. So I do have a wafer on there. I don't want to get any fluid down into the motor. So what I did is I have a 2-inch wafer on it. So just put our silos aside here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the vacuum on. And you can see that the lid close sensor is working and the substrate pressure present sensor is working. And then what I'll do is I'll hit spin. So it's just spinning at 250 RPM. And what I want to do is the only two that are actually operational here are dispense 1. What I'll do is activate that, and then I'll hit on. It's dispensing out of 1. Shut it off. And let's activate dispense 2. Okay, there was some air in the line here, so I just need to purge it first for a while. It's always good to do this too when you first hook it up, is to use this mode here. And as you can see, that we're now flowing through that valve. Turn it on and off. If you walk around here, you can see that it's coming out the drain. We're just draining into a bucket, a waste bucket that we have here. So I guess the final thing is, once you have these primed, you'll need to prime these so that you have liquid all the way up to in a line at least to the valve. And you do have adjustments for the flow using your valve control needle valves here on the back, the flow control on the valve. So again, let's look at 1. We'll quickly go through it, and then we'll do it on a recipe. 1 is on, off. 2 on. Again, you can adjust rotate this, and you can make adjustments. It's a fixed position, it does not oscillate. So let's go to run a recipe. We're going to edit it. We'll have to select one first. So let's use let's create our own here. Test 1, edit. So we'll be at 1,000 RPMs. We'll activate the dispense to 1. And then we'll jump up to, let's say, 2,000 RPMs. Change the ramp up speed here. Let's change the time down only down to 15 seconds. So step 1, 1,000 RPMs. It's going to ramp at 8,500 for 15 seconds, and it'll dispense 1. Let's change that to 15 seconds. We'll do our dispense, and we'll dispense 2. Go to 300. Let's dry it off. And that'll be it. So let's save that. We'll just save that as test 1. We'll overwrite it. Let's go to run. Test 1. Start centering. Can't tell if that's centered right now. 1,000 RPM. And jump up to shuts off 1, 2 is on now. 2,000 RPM. You see on the front here it's timing down. Just here it's timing that the dispense is on. And it will shut off and it's going to spin at 3,000 for a program at 30 seconds. Okay, so last time, I just want to point out again too, we'll send this along, it kind of shows how to hook up, or it does show how to hook up the, well, it's got 2 controllers, you're only going to use 1 controller, and how to bring the lines in. Here's one with the 2 tanks, which omit this, so you'll have your 1 controller, and here's the back of your 200. And it'll show you exactly how to bring the lines in or pressurize your tank. That's your pressurization can, and then to the valve, and then to the nozzle, dispense nozzle. Okay, that's it. Any more questions, just give us a call and we'll help you out.